Today I'm going to be painting a little British landscape using palette knives and oil paints. So I start by mixing up some basic colours. I will leave the reference photo here for you to see, just until the colours are already sort of mixed up and ready to go. And it's a very sort of minimalistic scene here, taken from my mother. Shout out to my mum, Janet Fear. This was taken in a place called Minehead in Somerset, UK. So I'm starting by mixing up some sky colours, and I want it to be really sort of fresh and clean, this painting, and pretty kind of simple and minimalistic. And so I just mixed up the titanium white with ultramarine blue and a little bit of cadmium reds, just for a sort of really kind of like minimal light, I'd say purple, but it's just off-white really. But there are sort of purple elements when you're mixing up red and blue together. So I've got a touch of yellow just crept into the palette there. So colours I'm using today are titanium white, cadmium yellow, cadmium red, burnt sienna, cerulean blue, and ultramarine blue, and I'm going to be adding some sap green in later. So using a fair bit of paint. As I said, these are water mixable oil paints. However, I didn't use any water in this painting session. I'm going to finish this painting. It took about 26 minutes to paint. And again, we're going for something really kind of minimal, abstract-y, touch of impressionism, I guess, involved. And I'm starting with this sort of regular medium-size palette knife and just sort of layering on. Excuse the glare, I can see a bit of glare in the video now. That should sort of fix itself later on when I change the lights. So I'm just doing this voiceover as a freestyle. And yeah, I really like this picture that my mum sent me. I really like the sky, it's really atmospheric. It's got a nice composition. It's quite tough to capture all of the grass, all the fields. You'll see me sort of play around with that. I think I overworked it within the last sort of like 4 minutes of this painting, but it was fine. It's all practice, and it's all fun and games. I mean, I do these little studies just to sort of kind of play with, sort of experiment and play and see what I can do, and they make great sort of colour studies for when I want to work on final pieces. So again, this is almost pure titanium white with a touch of blue, ultramarine blue that I added into there. So again, yeah, this painting is going to be about 97% used with the palette knife, and I just got a brush here and there on my fingers just to sort of soften out some areas. Especially in the horizon line now, which you'll see me sort of connect that horizon line to the sea and the distant sort of hills, I'd say, because this is in the UK. We don't have mountains in the UK, not that I know of. So I've just added in some blue there, and yeah, I had a good time painting this. Again, as I said, I wish I didn't sort of go too far with this. I could have stopped at the 23 minute mark, but it's fine. And I'm just sort of softening now with a flat brush there, just some areas now, and just sort of tying in some areas together now. So it's really important, as I said before, to play around with edges, soft edges and blended edges. It does make for a great painting. It does make for an interesting painting. And here I've just sort of added in some marks really. So it actually looks quite white. From this shot. I mean, it's not. It's the colours are all in there. I think I moved the light now, and I think the light that I had on whilst painting this was sort of shining a bit too brightly. Okay, so here I'm going to find that distant hill, and I want it sort of slightly cooler, so I just added in a bit of red there with that yellow and blue mix, but I this is a little area I got stuck on. I mean, I didn't want to go too vibrant here, and I think I went a bit too dark initially with this, so I had to fix this later on. And yeah, so I started with layering down this mix that I had now going on. But it's always nice to, I usually pre-mix my colors, but in this case I didn't. I just thought, okay, I'd try something else, try something new. But when I do pre-mix my colors, I do tend to have it similar to the composition of the actual painting that I'll be painting. So you'll see like sky colors on top, lands in the middle, and foreground lands right at the bottom of the palette. So, but yeah, I would like to paint this on a larger piece, on a larger scale. I mean, this is only what, a 6.5 by 6.5 inch piece of Canson oil painting paper. Quite unpredictable, this palette knife. I just wanted to sort of lighten it up a little bit, and I'm pushing down quite hard, using quite a lot of paint here, and you'll see me fiddle and play around with quite a lot of this from here, lands downwards. It was quite a fiddly painting. I was fairly happy with the outcome. I like the sky especially. Now here on the left is sort of a bit more misty now and lighter, so just a simple case of that same mix, and using more whites. I think I had some cerulean blue in there too. I also used a couple of palette knives because this painting is quite small, it was a bit fiddly. So I used, I think, 3 palette knives, the medium one, the small one, and this extra small one, which I usually use to mix up my colours. So not really much going on now, it's just laying in the colour really, and as I said, I want this part to be really well blended, so I do start by just smoothing that out with the flat brush and my finger. My fingers get used quite a bit throughout this painting. It's more of a stronger blend when you use your finger, and this is just feathering out now the area here now. And I also wanted this to be sort of slightly blended. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm not sure, but I mean, some paintings that I make, especially in recent weeks, they kind of feel a bit kind of natural. I don't know if I was in a weird state of mind today, but I wasn't really confident. I think you've got to be quite confident when it comes to working with palette knives and things like that. I just added some cerulean blue there. That's a really punchy colour, because I noticed in the reference photo that the colour of the sea was very, yeah, not vibrant, but it was kind of quite punchy and quite nice to look at. It wasn't dark. The water wasn't sort of grey like it is in most areas in the UK. So it was quite a nice day, even though it was quite an overcast day from what I saw from the picture. So that was always quite nice to add in, rather than making sort of sea dark blue or grey. Yeah, so here I'm just sort of smoothing in some areas. I'm keeping that brush clean in between applications. But yeah, as I was talking about, I wasn't really sort of confident enough perhaps with this painting today, maybe because I wanted to keep it really minimal and simple and focus on the sky, and I don't know, I just got carried away with the greenery, what's going on. We have some really beautiful green countryside in the UK, and maybe I couldn't find the right green, I'm not sure, but you'll see me now struggle in a bit. So here I'm just indicating a little bit of a shoreline there, and just with the edge of the palette knife really. The palette knives are amazing, very versatile, but slightly unpredictable, but a lot of fun to work with. Now here I'm knocking out a purple with red and blue, with ultramarine blue and cadmium red, and just lightening it up a little bit with a bit of that white and blue mix, because I noticed that in the actual reference photo we had like this sort of mauvey colour along the shoreline, which looked quite nice. And yeah, I had to get a bit fiddly with this palette knife, this really small palette knife, just to try and get all that information in and not overwork it. And I kind of did, I think, towards the end of the painting, but you'll see that now. Oh, you'll see it later. So if you're looking for the reference photo of this from this painting and more reference photos along with more tutorials and art downloads and other things, then check out my Patreon page. I'll leave the link in the description of this video below, and I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for my recent patrons that have subscribed to my membership. Really appreciate your support. And yeah, let's get back to the video. So here I'm mixing a kind of pale green. I usually start from what's furthest away and sort of bring the painting sort of forward. So what's furthest away, this is going to be for the green grass. And I want it sort of slightly pale, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just knocking in that sort of grassy area here. It's not really making a lot of sense at the moment, this painting, but I was kind of happy with it towards the end, or sort of after sort of 23 minutes or so. But yeah, I mean, and also green's a funny color. I mean, it can, you know, you'll see me use some sap green in a minute, but I was kind of looking a bit like, here's my sap green now coming, and it looks really dark from here. And when I put that on, I thought, my goodness, that doesn't look like it's going to be punchy enough. But I usually don't like going too bright with my greens. But, you know, if you're trying to capture something from the UK especially, I mean, we have some beautiful, as I said, some beautiful country green grass, and especially when the sun comes out, it does get really sort of vibrant. So, okay, I added some cadmium yellow into that green. And I decided to just jump here because I like to dance around the painting quite a lot when I'm painting anything. So just knocking in some basic sort of shapes really, and it's usually a good idea to put your darkest darks and your lightest lights and your more sort of vibrant colours in the foreground. And it's also nice doing this. So I added some burnt sienna, like a dark red, which is the opposite colour of green, and that's always quite nice to lay in. This makes it a little bit more natural looking. What I was about to say earlier, it's a funny colour, the greens are. I mean, you know, you don't want things to look too fake. So it's nice to play with your tonal range with greens, and also added in the opposite color, which could be a red, cadmium red, or a burnt sienna, just to make it a little bit more natural in the sort of grassy areas and the trees. So here I was trying to find a kind of pale yellow. Yellow ochre would have been better if I had some, but I didn't have any. So I tried to make my own yellow ochre, and it came out a little bit too vibrant. In the end, I tried to plant this strategically, where I saw in the reference photo. And keep in mind, I don't usually follow the reference photo exactly ever, but I tried to a little bit in this one. And then I just ended up sort of blending that part out shortly. And yeah, I'm just trying to play with the greens now, trying to make it a little bit more punchy right in the middle there. But yeah, I mean, palette knife, trying to get that sort of mix, that mad mix of impressionism, abstraction. Palette knives are really great for that. You can do things with a palette knife that you can't do with brushes. I tend to use both, but I just love these palette knife almost full paintings at the moment. Having a lot of fun with them. My sap green wanted to come down into the yellow there. So here I'm trying to just adjust the angle slightly, because there were sort of like bushes and parts of old trees that were kind of sticking out here. I did go too far with this painting. I looked at this picture about a week ago and I thought, okay, I'm going to go for this. I can't wait, keep it really minimal. But I think it was tough. Maybe it was because of the size I'm working on. As I said, this picture painting is very small, 6.5 inches by 6.5. It is considerably small. Okay, so here I'm just sort of decided to kind of knock and blend things, make it things a little bit more subtle there, and same here in the foreground. Okay, so I've noticed that I want to go a bit darker in this foreground, and I don't usually like paintings that are so dark, that are kind of small with this scale. I prefer to keep things a bit sort of more subtle and not bright, but kind of, yeah, more subtle and not so dark really. I thought it just needed something to kind of separate that foreground to the background, just to try and create a little bit more depth. And yeah, here I wanted to kind of indicate some like sort of rows of bushes that I could see in the distance here. And then I think I just painted over that in short towards the end of the video. It's fine. These sort of, as I said, these paintings are just experimental, and they're just great for practicing. It just allows me to dance around the surface and just enjoy it really. I didn't use too much paint either. I kind of kept that a little bit, kept the quantities of paint I put out a little bit less. Here though, I just grabbed that almost white mix because I just sort of wanted to scratch some areas into the wet paint there, which I did see in the reference photo. I'm not sure what that was. If that was just sort of parts of the water, the white water, or some light coming down, I'm not sure. And yeah, I'm keeping that palette knife clean in between applications. And yeah, I mean, I do have a few more reference photos to paint in the next sort of couple of weeks. A couple from the UK, which my lovely, wonderful mother has sent me, along with a few seascapes. But yeah, they're mainly sort of landscapes, so I'm going to do one for sure next weekend. But if you have any other ideas that you would like to see me paint, then let me know down in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Sean. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. Lovely to have you. And yeah, consider subscribing to my channel. I offer free tutorials, and hit the notification bell and you'll be uploaded for when I upload my next tutorial. So here I am adding some green into that hillside, I think. No, I'm adding some blue into. I'll add some green later into that hillside, but I think that hillside was a little bit too sort of clunky. I could have made it a lot thinner, I think, but it's okay. We'll try perhaps on the next one. But yeah, trying to keep things simple and not overwork things. And I usually give myself nowadays about 25 minutes to finish a painting, half an hour maximum, for these small studies. And yeah, I probably could have done this in about 20 minutes or so, but I had a bit of a fight with the green sort of grass and areas here. Like for example, here now I just start laying in some almost white highlights, and I can't find a palette knife that's smaller than what I'm using, so there's just no point. I should have just kept it simple, used the big palette knife and just kept it more impressionistic. I mean, it is impressionistic, but I think I was going for a little bit more detail in this miniature painting, and kind of defeats the object. I mean, it kind of like, it's not the sort of painting I want to go for. I don't want to be so tight and, overwork paintings. So here I just wanted to play with the sky a little bit and add some yellow in by accident, but I kind of like how it turned out. And I can sort of smudge it in slightly, or I can sort of cover it up, scratch it away, but I ended up keeping a little bit of that yellow just for some fun. And then just sort of layering on even thicker paint now in some areas, and try and keep the impression there of clouds that, I mean, clouds call me crazy, but they do have kind of soft and hard edges, even though they look kind of soft and fluffy. They're kind of not. See a lot of crisp edges in some areas, and then really soft edges in other areas of clouds, and it's beautiful. Really beautiful. But yeah, I just want to play around a little bit more with that palette knife, just to kind of throw some sort of small areas of cloud that come off the large cloud here, and just try and brighten up a little bit the sea, just to sort of kind of connect the sea a little bit with the sky, because usually when it's sort of, you know, when the sea is blue, the sky is usually blue, and grey sea equals grey sky. So it kind of, the picture looks a lot different there in this, and the reference photo looked a lot different. So it would have like a sort of almost like a nice sort of subtle light blue sea with like this sort of misty grey sky. It looked quite weird, quite eerie, but I liked it. And here I'm just adding some areas, some texture, just scratching some marks really here with the palette knife. And again, just sort of trying to highlight some areas really, and into that grass, which I could have probably done better, but it's fine. It's all practice. And then here, yeah, I wanted to lighten this a little bit, and that didn't really go to plan because the paint that I'd used there was already quite thick. Note to self, or for any tips, I mean, for a tip for you, don't put paint that's the same consistency on this paint that's already there that has the same consistency. For example, you want to go thin to thick if you want to change something. So I should have gone a lot thicker to change that sort of hillside there, but I didn't. It was still quite thin still, so it was mixing together a lot with what I had already put down initially, and it wasn't really making much of a difference. Slight difference in tone, but yeah, it's okay. So just trying to soften that the between the sky and the hillside there with my blending brush, and again just clean the blended brush a little bit there, and I just sort of began softening all of this grass, and you know, I think it was a lot of detail in such a small picture, and trying to find that bit of balance of not trying to having to copy all of that detail was quite tough with this painting for me. Usually like sort of more simplified reference photos. I mean, it is a simplified reference photo. I could have just simplified it really, but fine. Now I've just got my blending brush here, and I just started to jump in with that paint, something that I don't usually do, just to add some sort of indications of detail here and there, without going overboard with it. But I don't usually do that with the blending brush. I just thought I'd give it a try now though. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, advice, something I didn't really do today is, you know, try and keep things simple. These are small experimental practice paintings that we sort of finish in one-offs. And yeah, keep it simple. I mean, don't overcomplicate it. Give yourself 30 minutes and just relax with it. I was a bit sort of, wasn't very loose in my way of thinking, and I felt a bit sort of, yeah, not very confident, and I shouldn't think like that. I think I should just sort of enjoy it, and I did enjoy making the sky because that was the easiest part, but here was a bit sort of all over the place. But overall, I'm fairly happy with the final. Would I change things? Yeah, certainly. Made it. I would have painted it quicker and without less faffing around. So, but yeah, we live and learn. So with that sort of thick, almost white paint now, I'm just sort of lightly grazing now, and my colours are definitely getting muddy along there, which is great. Something that we don't want to do that really. I'm going to try and avoid mud, and then just sort of blend in a little bit with my finger really, and kind of not knowing what I was actually doing here, but it's fine. I just, just kept going with it, and yeah, I mean, we're almost to the end of the video now, and I just want to say that if you made it this far with me rambling, wow, that's 25 minutes in, and I haven't stopped talking, rambling. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I do really genuinely appreciate your support, my channel, and my channel is growing slowly and surely, and I'm really happy with what I'm doing at the moment with these tutorials, even though this painting turned out a bit weird. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you. Have a great day wherever you are in the world. Happy painting, and reminder, if you're not subscribed to my channel, then please do so and hit the little notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now, and happy painting.